This is Christy from Rising North, and tonight I'm going to talk about something that a lot of people ask me. And that question is how to connect to the spirit realm. Um, I'm going to start this video with a story. It's a story about this bone that I work with a lot. I do a lot of work, and if you could see it, like, I don't know how well you could see it, but it's completely broken off. Um, and it's kind of splintered and it's hollow. And there's a significance to that. So, uh, quite a while ago now, I mean, I would guess now, probably a year or so ago, I received a download from Spirit when I was in meditation that they showed me a bone that I was meant to work with. And it happened to look just like this bone. But that's not what the story is necessarily about originally. So they showed me a picture of this bone, and I knew that it was a bone that I was meant to, that was meant to help me to be a conduit between the spirit realm and the human realm. And to do my healing work, it was going to assist me. And I saw that very clearly in the meditation. And so I did what, most of us would probably do. I went online and started looking for the exact bone that I saw in this meditation. And I searched, which normally I don't, because normally in this line of work and in the healing work and the work directly with the spirit realm, I'm just led certain places that I just intuitively know I have to go there, like maybe to a crystal shop. I'll see it, I'll be driving by, and I'll just know instinctually that I need to go in there. And when I go in, I'm just led to a certain crystal. And I don't do the research, I don't look things up before I go. I'm just intuitively, typically I really trust that intuitive nudge. But in this particular meditation, I knew that this bone that they showed me was really going to help me to do this work. So I thought, okay, I'm not just going to come across the bone, right? So I need to look for this particular one that I saw in my meditation. So I found this set of bones on, I think it was Etsy, from a um from actually a beautiful storefront that sells a lot of shamanism um bones and instruments, right, to deal with the shamanic path, which I have definitely been walking for a long time now. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to order this set of bones because in this set of four, and yeah, I think it was a set of four bones. There was one in there that looked identical to the one that I saw in my meditation. So the bones arrived and I was very excited and I put them out in the moonlight and I spent time with them and I did all this stuff, right? But the bone that I thought was going to be the exact one that I saw in my meditation did not it just wasn't exactly right, if that makes any sense, right? So the energy from this bone, the relationship I had with this bone, I don't know, it just didn't feel on point for me. But I was like, okay, I mean, this is probably as close as I'm going to get to this exact bone that I saw in my meditation. So I went with it. And fast forward, like 2 months later, I am out working in the water because that's one of the things that I do. I'm out in the bay in the I call it like the most beautiful and um profound place in my life, my favorite place on the whole planet, which is the bay. I love to be submerged in the salt water. I swear I have salt water flowing through my veins, right? So this is going to be hard to believe, but this is true. This bone right here came out of the mud of the bay. This bone, the bone that I use for my work. And as soon as I came across this bone, it was the exact bone that I saw in my meditation. I knew right away. that it was the spirit realm delivering me the very bone that I needed to do my work. And I've been using it ever since. And I'm a little upset that it broke, but it's even more hollow now. And those of you who do this kind of work, especially the work of the shaman, you are the hollow bone, right? You're working between the spirit realm and the human realm or the animal realm or the plant realm. You are the conduit. You're between the worlds and you are acting as such. So this hollow bone symbolizes what I actually am when I'm doing the work. I tell you that story, and I know it took me a while to tell that story, but I tell you that story for a very specific reason, is that through me building my relationship with the spirit realm was what was able to allow me to see this bone in the first place in my meditation and to recognize it right away when I came across it in the bay that day. So if you are wondering how to connect with the spirit realm, this is the best advice I can give to anybody who wants to deepen their relationship with the spirit realm. It is a relationship, just like any other relationship in your life. If you want it to be fruitful and you want it to be rich and abundant, and you want it to be deepened, and you want it to be clearer, right? So that you can hear the messages clearer, so that you can feel the signs clearer, then I hate to tell you this, but it's just like any other relationship on the earth. You have to spend time with the spirits. You have to, and I mean, really, every single day, you should be spending time with the spirits. And what does that mean? That means a variety of things, depending on you. That means for me, it means meditation every single day without fail. I mean, once in a blue moon, I'll have a day where I just don't get a meditation in for whatever reason. But 90 I would say 95% of the time, I do a meditation, at least one meditation per day. And that is time for the spirits to come through with any messages and any communication that they have for me. Of course, if I'm working directly, like if I'm working with somebody doing any kind of energy healing work, I enter meditation before I even go on the call, if it's through Zoom. If it's in person, I do a meditation before I even communicate with that person whatsoever. That's the first thing I do, is I tap into my connection with the spirit realm. What that relationship requires, I'm going to go over a few things that the relationship with spirit realm requires. Um, it requires first and foremost time, like I just described, setting aside time to spend with the spirits. And that could be, though, not just meditation. It could be being out in the natural world. I get a lot of downloads when I'm out hiking, when I'm in the woods, when I'm even just walking around. I get a lot of I'm very physical. I'm a very physically active person, so I tend to get a lot of downloads and a lot of spiritual insight when I'm even out pushing my lawnmower in the summer months, mowing the grass. I get a lot of spiritual downloads. Um, I get a lot of signs from spirits and synchronicities actually when I'm out in nature. I find feathers on the ground. I find all kinds of things. I see certain birds that I can I can interpret the message now pretty well. I've gotten pretty good at it for the most part. And if I have uncertainty about the message that I'm receiving, I will ask the spirits to help me to decipher the message they're trying to bring through, and I will directly communicate that to them that I'm having trouble getting the exact message that they're trying to send to me. The spirits would love for more humans to open their connection to the other realm. And they're just waiting for you. So if you are watching this video right now, it is absolutely, positively not a coincidence. This is one of the ways that the spirits communicate. They communicate through the conduits. Whatever person has surrendered and agreed to be used as a conduit here on the earthly plane. So I'm one of those people. I'm one of many, many, many conduits on the earth. So this message that's being delivered to you right now is in part being delivered by your spirit team, imploring you to develop and deepen the relationship that you have with your guides and your team. Make no mistake about it, you do have a team that is right at your fingertips, ready to assist you. You have animals, you may have a star family that wants to connect with you. I mean, it's just the list is infinite. But you have to get quiet and you have to be able to tap in order to be able to hear them and in order to be able to get to know them. It's a relationship unlike the ones here on the earth that you are kind of used to, because it's not visible, right? It's with the unseen. So it requires kind of a different way of operating. So the other piece of this that a lot of you are not going to want to hear this, but it's true, and I'm going to have to deliver it because the spirits, I mean, they've been very clear about this to me. Number one is that it's not all of this, how I talked about crystals and how I talked about the bone, right? That I use in my work. I use a huge clear quartz crystal when I'm doing my healing work because I saw that in a meditation and I found it by accident, which there is no accident. It was not. It was a synchronistic event that I found the healing quartz that I work with in I forget exactly where I found it, to be honest, but it was in some shop, like out of the that I never even expected to go into. And I found it, and I knew right away, as soon as I saw it, that I was meant to work with that crystal. And so you will be led to where you need to be led to. And why I'm telling you that, and this is going to be a controversial point, I am sure, within the spiritual community. The human realm loves to become so dependent on stuff and things and how we dress and how we look and how we present and how many crystals we have and what our altar looks like and what our just the physical aspect of our lives. We tend to get caught up in that here. Um, the spirit realm doesn't, I hate to put it like this, but it's true. The spirit realm doesn't care about that. They just don't. So if they do for you and you're feeling called to wear certain clothes when you do this work, you're feeling called to wear certain protection, elements of protection. I see that a lot. Bracelets, whatever you're called to from your spirit team and from your guides and your higher self calls you to do, absolutely do it. But be very discerning. If it is you believing, you as your human self, your 3D self on this plane of existence, be very clear with yourself. Is this coming from you or is this coming from the higher realms? Is this coming from a higher source, right? Um, the divine, I like to call it. Where is it coming from? This belief system that you have? Is it a belief that spiritual people look a certain way? Is it a belief that psychic mediums, channelers, spiritual guides, and healers need to dress a certain way and appear a certain way? Is it something that has been indoctrinated into your belief system, and therefore you just then follow suit because you believe that that is what you're supposed to be doing? I would challenge you to challenge that belief system and where it comes from and where it stems from. And is it really necessary in the work that you need to be doing here on the earth? For example, I am a healer. Um, I know I'm a healer. I know that this is a gift that has been bestowed on me, and it is a gift that I have, I mean, way beyond words, respect for that I could never convey to you here. The amount of respect and the amount of gratitude that I have for this gift. I don't need to be wearing certain clothes to to heal, to bring healing through. And even if I didn't have this bone or my large quartz clear quartz crystal when I'm doing my work, even if all of my any kind of prop, so to speak, I have a drum that I sometimes use, a rattle. I have two different rattles actually that I sometimes use in my work. Even if I had none of it, I could still do the work. And the reason why is because the work is I am simply the conduit for the work. And as such, the work is done when I step aside of my human self and I allow spirit to move through me and into the person that I am working with or into the animal. So it's really, if it helps, so I don't know how to articulate this very well. If it helps you to believe that it is helping that person that you are healing, then you would adhere to whatever it is that you feel called to. Make no mistake, if you are a healer and you have been summoned by the spirits to do the work of the spirits and of source and of God, or however you want to term it, you can do it completely naked and devoid of all clothing, all crystals, all tools. That is very, very important. And the last message coming through that you need to hear right now is it takes a certain amount of sacrifice. And when I say that, I'm referring to the sacrifice of not buying in to junk, consuming junk, the news, social media, um, anything that's going to lower your vibration. It's not going to make you necessarily popular. Um, I can tell you that I live a life that is a lot different than most people's lives. I don't ever watch television. I don't, I'm not on social media sites. For my healing business, I created a profile. I've done nothing at all with Facebook, Instagram, because I don't understand how they work. I don't really care about social media whatsoever. Um, it does take some sacrifice. It really does. It takes you valuing that connection that you have to the spirit realm enough to not consume anything that is going to dilute that connection. I hope that makes sense. And the last tip I have is just to be open to the messages and the way that the spirits communicate with you requires you to deepen that relationship so that you learn how they speak to you and to be open to whatever way they're going to bring the messages in. It does require an open mind, an open heart, an open energetic system, an open um a trust, a trust, right? Because even in our human relationships, when you trust somebody, you're open with that person, and they can be open in turn with you. And it's the same with this relationship with the spirits. Trust what comes through. Trust the way that it comes through. Don't question it or put it through your mind too much, right? Because our mind tends to want to analyze everything, the death out of everything. So I hope this was helpful, and your guides definitely want to connect with you. So if you need help doing that, you can go on my website, you can book an appointment. I can absolutely help you with that. But that can also be done with no help at all from me or from anybody else. You can do that on your own with just what I told you in this video. Be well. See you in the next video. Bye.